Soul Simmers, and welcome back to a brand new speed build. I am so excited to share this one with you guys because it is such a nostalgic build. So to give a little bit of context, I guess when you clicked on the thumbnail of this video, you kind of know what build we're doing, but we're building the Totally Spies house. I believe in season 3 and season 4, 3 of the spies are actually living together in this kind of, I believe it's like I keep wanting to say Del Sol Valley, but it's like Beverly Hills, but I guess Del Sol Valley is inspired by Beverly Hills, but I keep wanting to say, yeah, they live in like a Del Sol Valley beach house, but no, actually it is a Beverly Hills beach house together. And I used to be absolutely obsessed with Totally Spies. It used to be one of my favorite TV shows. I would always play, like in free time in school, I would like play Totally Spies with my friends, and obviously we would always bicker about who got to be Sam because Sam was the smart one and everyone wanted to be Sam. And I feel like at this point, I still would fight everyone to be Sam because she is still the one that I think is the coolest. So let me know in the comments down below if you like Totally Spies, and if so, what your favorite spice is, because of course we need to talk about this. But I actually did a cosplay of Sam not too long ago. It was part of a charity incentive, or like a charity stream that I did on my Twitch streams. And when I decided that when I was gonna do a cosplay of Sam, I'll also make sure to, like, obviously you've seen it in the thumbnail, but I'll also make sure to add like a little picture somewhere in this video, or maybe at the end of the video, of me in the Sam cosplay. But I decided that if I'm gonna cosplay as Sam, we might as well build the Totally Spies house that they live in together. So that's what we did, and we actually built it on stream. This took me a ridiculously long time to build. I did not think that this was going to be such an ambitious building project. Honestly, when I saw the pictures of the Spice house originally, I was like, oh, that's going to be fine. That's not going to be too bad. Probably not going to take that long. It ended up taking like 5 streams and a total of like at least 15 hours to make this build. That is also because I'm far too perfectionistic. Is that how you say that? I don't know. But let's just say that I wanted everything to be perfect and everything to be matching, and I just added far too many details. But I think in the end, that's why this build turned out so fun and so great as it did, because I did not hold back on any of the details, any of the color scheme. So I'll make sure not to talk too much over this build. I do want to explain you some things about the things that like I ran into, or challenges or choices that I made, but I also would like this to be a video that you can kind of put on in the background while you're maybe gaming yourself, or while you're working or studying, to kind of just accompany you. You can see the build kind of get put together over time, and then you can also just listen to some nice music in the background, stuff like that. So I'll promise I won't yap for too long, but I do want to tell you a little bit about this build and kind of my vision for it. So obviously, there are certain things in the game that we simply cannot do. Like, we don't have windows that allow us to kind of fill up that roof space, or like that triangular shape, I would say. So I had to get creative with certain things of this build. And also, there is not many floor plans or like actual good pictures of this house available. There's a couple of illustrations, but that's all I had to work with. So I think this build is not 100% accurate. Also, if you look from like screenshots from the show, there's interior screenshots that are in no way, shape, or form possible in this house, because there's like round walls, but then when you look at the outside of the build, there's like 0 round walls. So it's kind of a challenge to get it to match, but I try to also kind of just give my own twist to it. But that's one of the first challenges, is that we ran into kind of a lack of source material. So we definitely had to be creative, and I was very lucky that I had a whole Twitch chat kind of thinking along with me, coming up with really brilliant ideas on how to fix certain things. So if you're ever interested in like that collaborative style of building, feel free to come hang out in my Twitch streams. They are linked down below, or like the link to my channel is below in the description box. And I love doing those kind of like almost co-op buildings with chat, where we collaborate actively on what the build should look like. So if that's something that you would be interested in, feel free to join one of my Twitch streams. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for gaming. I also do co-working streams, so if you see me streaming on another time, then it can be that I'm doing that, but usually the gaming part is 3 times a week in the evening on CET times. And yeah, that was like our first challenge. But then the second challenge was the fact that this build has a lot of like asymmetrical parts. The first part you just saw me make is like the roof in kind of that little tower in the front. That roof is asymmetrical, but then also like the entire build is not a perfect square, and there's like platforms in certain parts, but then there's no platforms in other parts. And the stairs to go onto like the first layer of balcony is also in kind of a weird spot, and just a whole floor plan. I think to that degree, it is a very realistic house, because I think realistic houses are usually very asymmetrical and they don't make a lot of sense on the outside. Only us simmers try to make like very sensible, perfectly symmetrical builds, or like even when our builds are asymmetrical, they're always like, they make sense to a way, like the windows are nicely spaced out and stuff like that. Whereas in usually with IRL builds, windows and stuff like that are not spaced out in a sensible way. They're like in the most weird places, especially if you look at it from the outside. But I think in the end we got there. We were struggling a little bit with, again, like interpreting the pictures that we had and translating it into a floor plan. You're kind of seeing me struggle here with what is on the roof, because again, I didn't have many pictures, so sometimes I could see that something was there, but we were like not really sure what was there. Those roofs actually ended up being umbrellas for the chairs, which made so much more sense than what I was doing earlier. But this was kind of the struggle that we were faced with in terms of trying to make this build as accurate as possible, but then also having to give it your own interpretation from time to time. Then another challenge that you'll actually see me work on a bit later in the speed build is a round pool. You can kind of see it in the picture that we used as like the reference picture in the top corner of the screen right now. They have a round pool in the backyard. This picture makes it look like a huge pool, but actually there's another screenshot that we had which kind of like shows the build from the back, and it's kind of like a bean-shaped pool. And obviously, we cannot really make round pools in The Sims, but I really wanted to try and make a round pool. And I remembered when I was actually working on this on stream that there is a tutorial from Kate Emerald on how to make round pools in The Sims. So I was like, you know what? This might be my perfect opportunity to actually give that a try. So I looked up the tutorial and we watched it together on stream. I'll make sure to link that tutorial in the description box down below, because huge shout out to Kate Emerald for one, making that tutorial, and for two, like being brilliant enough to figure out how to make functional round pools in The Sims. It is literally not even that hard. I am still surprised with how easy it turned out to be. The only thing is you do need to follow some steps quite precisely, because otherwise it won't work. But if you follow those steps and just simply like take it a bit slow and don't try to rush into things, it's actually really easy to make a round pool in The Sims. So I highly recommend checking out that tutorial. Also, just in general, make sure that you check out Kate Emerald, literally one of the best Sims builders I have seen ever. So if you want to get inspired by cool builds, make sure to check out that channel. However, if you're interested in speed builds, I'm guessing that you might have already heard of their channel. So in that case, you can just see this as a extra shout out or extra emphasis on how amazing they are, and also that they do have that tutorial for round pools. Then I already mentioned that another challenge was the platforms. Actually, there is a lot of platforms in this house. I ended up kind of like going wild with them. It started with the fact that I wanted to make like a sunken living room area, because I felt like that was really kind of almost like 70s. And I think the Totally Spies vibe, when you look at the colors and the patterns and stuff in the show, it is very 60s, 70s inspired. So I was like, you know what? I kind of want to put that theme in this build as well. But by doing that, I kind of had to get creative with like sunken living rooms and platforms and stuff like that. And then I also noticed that on the outside of the build, it looked a lot better if kind of the balcony part was on a platform, so I could add an extra trim. But by doing that, I immediately needed to add platforms on the inside as well to prevent like floating doors and stuff. And this just kind of continued to be a theme throughout the entire build, where every single time I was like, oh, I got it figured out. I think I know the platforms. I ran into an issue where there were more platforms that needed to be added. Or here you can see me adding stairs. They actually go through platforms. And later on, there was a bug in the game. I don't know what was happening, but I just couldn't add those stairs again. They disappeared. And I end up moving them to the right side of that kind of like roof terrace, because there was simply no way that the game would allow me to place a set of stairs below the platforms again. So as we all know, there are some bugs in this game, and this is definitely one of them, which really challenged me in this build to get creative and not lose my patience. But I think in the end we did it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So if you're interested, this build is on the gallery. I'll make sure to also like say it again at the end of the video, but my gallery ID is the same as my username here on YouTube, and I uploaded it. Actually, I re-uploaded it later because I realized after making this speed build and after uploading it to the gallery that I absolutely forgot to add something in the garage. So I end up going back like off screen or like off recording and adding a little gym and sauna area into the garage. That is not recorded, and I don't have like really good screenshots of it, but I have added that and then like re-uploaded the build to the gallery. So if you download this build, you should be getting the one with the sauna and the gym in the garage. Then another challenge, which I already kind of mentioned, but the fact that there was like no floor plan or anything. There's a bunch of interior shots, of course, from like literally watching the show. You can see their house on the inside, but there is no good floor plan of this house. So I had to just be really creative and come up with a floor plan myself. I end up adding 3 bedrooms, so just a bedroom for each of the spices. Then I tried to kind of come up with a number of bathrooms that makes sense, and then they have a really big and huge spacious living room. And upstairs we ended up with this really awkward hallway space that kind of has the door to a bathroom and 3 of the bedrooms in it, but it was quite a large space and I genuinely didn't know what to add. So I end up adding like a party kind of dance room, which I don't know, since it's a house for like teenagers, it might be a little bit silly, but also I kind of feel like it works. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of that part of the house, because that's the part where I'm like the least sure of the success of what I did. But for the rest, I was like really happy with how it turned out, and I also really like the color schemes that we ended up going for. I tried to give like all of the bedrooms like a true kind of personality for each of the spices, because obviously in the show they put a lot of emphasis on that. For instance, Clover is like the really girly pop girly, and then Sam is like the really clever one, and Alex is like the athletic one, and they kind of like try to put a lot of emphasis on their personality traits. So I tried to kind of translate that into this build as well. Then also, I actually accidentally, with recording this on stream, I lost one of the rooms in the recording somehow. I don't know what happened. Like, I legit don't know where that recording went, because I'm pretty sure I recorded everything. But in this speed build, there's actually a part missing where I decorate Alex's room, which is the orange room. I did add some screenshots to that at the end of this video. So if you are like looking for Alex's room in the recording, it's unfortunately not there, but there are screenshots to her room in the end. And obviously, if you download the build, her room will be there as well. Then something else is that I really tried, like I said, to keep that kind of like vibrant 60s, 70s style, but also I went completely overboard with just adding vibrant colors, because when do you get the opportunity in The Sims to just go absolutely ham on what colors you can use? So for everything, I tried to use like the brightest pink and the brightest purple and the brightest green, and I played a lot with lighting. So I used a lot of like changing the light colors and stuff to even make the colors pop more. It was definitely something that I struggle with, because usually I'm like all for those like minimalistic, more aesthetic builds and stuff like that with like the pastel colors, and I never use very bright colors, but I had so much fun. So if this is anything, please take this as your cue to also try a very vibrant build in The Sims, because I had great fun doing it. It was kind of like that moment where you just have to commit, and as soon as you've committed, you're like, oh my goodness, that is so much fun. So feel free to go ahead and try it as well. Let me know in the comments if you're more like a vibrant builder or more like a pastel builder like me. Also here, by the way, you can see me starting with that round pool concept. So this was actually a thing that went wrong like 3 times, so we had to start over a couple of times, and in the speed build we only left the time where it actually went right. So if you're like, wow, she did that so fast, no, I did not. I actually struggled a lot with this, but we are just showing you the parts where it worked out. Okay, let me just tell you that this was not as easy as I made it seem in like one go. And like I said, the tutorial to this is linked in the description box down below. So if you want to try it out for yourself, please make sure to go give it a try, because it was a lot of fun to do. And I think that covers it for the voiceover of this video. I've yapped long enough, so I'm just gonna let you guys enjoy the rest of the video with some nice background music. At the end of the video, like I said, I'll have some screenshots of the final build with like some more detailed close-up shots of the rooms and everything. And of course, if you wanna let me know either here in the comments or on the gallery what you think of this build, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts, because this build was so much fun to do. And again, I challenge you to make a similar build yourself, because it is a lot of fun to kind of take your favorite TV show like Kim Possible or any like TV show, Fairly Odd Parents, that you used to watch as a kid, and just kind of take inspiration from that and translate it to The Sims. So let me know which build you would like to try, like which of your favorite TV show you would like to do in The Sims. And then I think with all of that being said, if you like this video, please do toss it a cheeky like, because it does really help the video get to more people. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I do a lot of like tutorials, speed builds, mod reviews. I have my own Let's Play. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye everyone!